Hey, it's Howard here at Golf For You. Just going to touch on a few things that is a bit of a misunderstood thing in golf, especially when it comes to fitting. Is people come in and they go, generally I'm an extra stiff because of this, that, and the stiffness of this shaft. Can you give me a shaft that stops it going right, so that's more stiff? That's not particularly true. Not particularly. A shaft works, it bends in different directions, but it doesn't twist. So if you're looking for a shaft to try and maybe help you with a draw, or hit you with it, that doesn't work. What shaft is fundamentally doing is the main ingredient that I look at when I'm fitting is the weight. So once we get into the sort of the weight profile of what you need, is then we can start putting that weight profile in different shafts and see which one gives you the best opportunity to match up at your strike. And that's basically what the shaft's doing. So weight's important, flex very, very little importance, but it's a thing that you get. It's an ego thing, basically. Oh, look what I've got. I've got a TX, X, whatever. Now, think of the shaft as a timing device that gives you the opportunity to get the club where you want it to impact, okay? So you've got guys who are loading really hard here, probably want something that's a little bit heavier, maybe a little bit stiffer. I'm gonna do a little test here, okay? I'm just gonna hit two. This is my club, Titleist T150. It's got a KBS Tour C-Taper Light Stiff. This is the one that, for years I've used this because I change and mess about with things because I'm an idiot, but I like to try new things, and I always end up going back and putting this back in my clubs because it kind of helps me time it up. Now I'm not a fast swinger of the golf club, getting a little bit older, and I think, right, I'll go down to regular, a little bit lighter. Geez, all over the place. So I'm a great example of how wrong it is to believe that a shaft can do the things you think it can do. What the shaft is there for is to help you time it up. Weight, bend profile, that sort of thing, where does the shaft kick, all that sort of stuff. So when you go for a fitting, make sure you're asking your fitter, make sure the fitter's explaining to you why they recommend this shaft. Why, not that they put a shaft in, you hit two good shots when they say that's perfect for you. Well, you might have got a little bit lucky or a bit unlucky, I don't know, but make sure you're getting the right shaft into the head that allows you to time it up based on your swing. Other thing you're doing with fitting as well that I see quite a lot is when I ask people this all the time when they come for a fitting, if they're being coached, what are they being coached on? What are the changes they're making? What is the end result of the coaching? Because if I fit them, because of the way that the shaft and the heads can work, I could fit them for what they're doing today. What's the speed, angle of attack, where the path is coming from, all sorts of stuff. But they might be working towards, and their coach is going to get them in a couple of months' time into a completely different place, different speed, different load, So I've got to know that so I can, in a sense, when I fit, future-proof them, if they let me do that, Because sometimes, you get somebody in and you fit them for something, and basically 2-3 months later, the clubs are not working for them because they've changed what they've done dramatically. So be aware of that as well. Is when you're getting fitted, are you getting fitted for today, or are you getting fitted for where you're going? What your swing's going to be doing? What's the speed? How much pressure you're putting on the shaft? That type of stuff. And talk to your fitter and let them know that, and they should have a fair idea of what to do. It won't be dramatic changes, but just that subtleness, the nuances with the different shafts. I mean, up here, on the wall, we have got, I'll count them one day, but we have got so much variety in shafts. As I just said, you look at the variety. These are driver shafts, fairway shafts right along the top there. Then you go closer to this one, you've got kind of different manufacturer's iron shafts, again another manufacturer's iron shaft, down the bottom here another manufacturer's iron shafts, all the way along here. crazy amount we've got, and then you go out here and we've got this wall here that is the options for Callaway. Up there, Ping, and there, Strixon. You know, it's never ending, and we have the same shaft in most of these matrices. You know, so I can have, say, Project X6. I can have 5 of them in this room because they don't fit in certain heads. It's going to be the case where I'll have 1 and it fits in all heads. We're now working on a system which should be completed probably by the end of the summer, where it's a all-fit system where any shaft goes into any head. Yeah, so sometimes with the manufacturers you get a certain amount of shafts, and then somebody tries a shaft in a head and they like it, and then they prefer a different head, but we don't have the shaft to go in that head. We only have it for a certain manufacturer. We're going to change all that. You know, we're basically nearly there, especially with the drivers and the fairways. We can just about put any shaft into any head, so it gives you much more opportunity and dials it in a little bit tighter. Yeah. So you're not, and also when you go, if you're going for a fitting, and this is not a criticism, I mean, these guys do a great job, but if you're going for a fitting, say to a manufacturer, you go to a tailor-made fitting. Remember, they're only fitting tailor-made. They're giving you no choices. They're only fitting tailor-made. So be a little bit cautious of what you're doing when you go to these type of things. That, you know, keep an open mind, but remember, you're only trying one brand. And there might be, we've got most of the brands in here, and a lot of fitters, especially in the London area, have got lots of the brands as well. And it gives you a better opportunity. But when you kind of go to a fitting day, unless you're at the fitting center of the manufacturer, remember what you're going to be doing is hitting range balls, okay? And that's just an absolute no-no, because they do react on the club face differently. Yeah. Nobody's going to go to a driving range and when he's getting fitted by Callaway, and they say, right, I want to use Pro Vs. They're not going to do that. Yeah? They're just going to give you what's on the range. So then you get the clubs based on what the numbers may be telling you with a range ball and a very tight selection of shafts that there's maybe something better out there for you. Get them built, get them made, pay for them, and then you go on a golf course when they're not the same because you start using a Pro V with them, or you know. These things have got to be taken into consideration. Remember, you're going to be outlaying a hell of a lot of money to get the new toys, yeah? Doesn't mean they're always going to be better, but if you're fitted properly, you'll find that out, you know. Sometimes we're in fitting, we're basically, I've said to people on numerous occasions, you know, don't change them. You only change them if you want something new, because they're working really good for you, yeah? So I'm just going to hit a couple of balls just so you can see what I mean about this stiffness of shaft. Now I've got, as I say, I've got mine here with a stiff C-taper, and I've got the Tensei red graphite shaft, exactly the same heads, yeah, and exactly the same length. Okay, they're going to place different swing weights, but we'll come to that in a different video. And we're just going to see what it does to the numbers. So the first one I'm going to hit is mine. Okay, I'm using a golf ball I use, which is a Pro V1X. Yeah. I've got myself in a par 3 here. All I'm going to do is just take a pretty normal swing. I can't go at full belt at the moment because I've got a bit of an old man's injury, but hey, we'll see. Right, so this is my club, stiff shaft, yeah? Okay. Not the greatest shot I've ever hit. Now I'm going to go to, but the feel of the way the head worked and the shaft's working and helping me with my timing, it's like, doesn't change. I kind of know what I'm getting. Now I've got something a little bit different. Yeah? This is where people say, well, you've got a slower swing speed. You know, you need graphite, you need A-flex. It's not particularly true. I've got a slower swing speed because I'm in my mid-60s, but I'm still using a stiff shaft because it helps me time up. I use my hands quite a lot down at the bottom, so it helps everything time up to the ball. Now, when I've got this just feels like it's completely out of control. It feels I've got nothing there, yeah? Now that I just couldn't feel that at all. Now, I didn't hit that bad deliberately. It just feels like there's nothing there. I like to feel the weight. I like to feel the head. This just feels as though it's waving about all over the place. Yeah? Now go back to straight away as I pick this up. Yeah? As soon as I pick this up, I'm going, yeah, feel it. When I, put it in my hand, set up, I just feel so comfortable with this because it suits me. I like the feel of it. I like the weight of it. I don't fear anything that's going to go in different directions, So, now straight away, completely different strike. Okay, so that's just a little kind of test. I've got a wee bit of the pulls going on, but hey, I'll fix that in the next once I get past this injury. So 2 different shafts, same club, same length, 2 different weights of shafts and feels of shafts. Yeah. Now this one here, the really light graphite, I could play with that, but I don't feel very confident with it. I could adjust to it. This one here, it's in theory my age, my swing speed with a 7-iron. In debate of people online who would say, oh, you've got this sort of speed, you need this. They're saying I need that. This one works better. Yeah? So when you're going for a fitting, ask the questions. Make sure you're getting the knowledge of what the shaft's doing. Don't just have an open mind and say, I need a stiff shaft, I need a regular shaft, I need extra stiff. Some egotistical maniacs, I need a Tourex stiff. Just doesn't work like that. Yeah. Now you could go and say, right, I need an extra stiff shaft because I've used extra stiff shaft, and you could be right, but don't get caught up on it. Remember, the shaft's a timing device. The shaft, about 5% of what I do might help the face shut or open. Yeah. The shaft's bending in completely different ways. It doesn't twist this way. So get the shaft, the weight right, get what feels right, get the length right. Another little touch on that, you see when you go, some people go for fitting. I'm not saying they're wrong, and they're getting their wrist measured to the ground based on the height and whatever. We don't really do that here, or I don't do it. It's because I do it where it's dynamically. I want to know, when you're hitting the ball at your impact, that's going to decide what the length is. If you're hitting it always off the toe, and there's nothing else that we can see, well, put an extra sort of ½ inch onto it and that'll bring it back to the center. Similarly, hit it off the heel. If there's nothing really wrong with your delivery, we just make it a little bit shorter and push it back in the middle because that's our objective. So the shafts, are they important? Yes. Is the flex of them important? Not really. It's more the weight, the length, the bend profile, kick point, these type of things. Okay, so I hope that helps. So, when you go for a fitting, make sure you're getting this explained to you. Okay?